want to be recorded, feel free to turn your camera off if you don't want your face to be shown when this goes up on our YouTube channel. Otherwise, Rebecca, it's all yours. Take it away.
Okay, well, we are here to talk about and actually participate in some EFL-Peace activities. And Wayne, you might see a couple, maybe one that you have seen before, but I have mostly those that are directly related to Korea. So here we go. The one thing I should say before we leave this slide is that these peace activities build EFL competence because the students are learning to speak English while they're doing these activities. And of course, the activities are meant to bring in peace concepts, integrate peace within the EFL competence instruction. So I think we're ready. Michael? Okay. Some people like to say that peace is the absence of war. What do you think peace is? Oh, it's when we don't have any conflict. Okay, peace is maybe those things, but peace is positive. It's something that you can describe in positive ways, not just the absence of something. Michael? Okay, now, this is not a trick. This is what I would like to know. What does peace mean to you? And if you can go to the chat box, I would like to have some sentences or words, anything that you want to say about what peace means to you. We're going to get started that way. And if you don't mind, I would like to share these. Okay, let's just stay here. Oh, okay, very nice. Maria says, okay, several of you said calm and calmness, tranquility, again, being calm, finding balance, harmony, love, tranquility. We're on a roll here. I guess you can see the roll that we're on. Sustainability and justice. Peace is becoming seen in that way more and more, thank heavens. Compassion for other people. I would say compassion for oneself as well. Stillness, low conflict on a mass scale. People are engaging in empathetic endeavors, thanks. Serving others. Okay. A lot of you have said what peace means to you, and I would strongly validate all of these statements that people have made. If anybody else wants to add, that's okay. Can we go on? Let's see. Yeah, Michael. Okay. I want to just say what conflict is versus violence. I was very surprised at this when I started reading about peace perspectives by the experts. Conflict only means different views, different desires, different hopes. And conflicts are normal and they can be resolved or transformed giving us peace. So we're going to talk about the examples in a few minutes. Let's go on and see what violence is in comparison to conflict. Violence, the intentional physical or social harm to someone. So if you would please go to the chat box, or if anybody wants to speak up, that is also fine. What are some examples of either conflict or violence? And please make a note to say which one you're talking about. Violence with a V and conflict with a C, something like that. And it can be in the news, it can be at your house, it can be anywhere you're thinking about.
Maybe a disagreement between students in class could be a conflict, but when one of them punches the other in the nose, that becomes violence.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very good example. There's a line past which something is conflicted but it can become violent. Anybody else want to say? Oh yeah, okay. Violence toward children and women in wars. And that is indeed happening now in Ukraine and in other places too. You see what has been going on for years in Myanmar with the Rohingya people being essentially run out, most of them. And some experts are calling it genocide. I don't know if that's appropriate or not. Okay, conflict. Very good. What restaurant to eat at? Violence. Ridiculing ridiculing another's opinion and choice. I thought it said ridiculing mothers, like the old ladies, opinion or choice. And then that was from Christopher, and Jocelyn said racism as systematic violence. And I definitely feel like that. Okay. There was one from Wayne. Conflict is like a brother or sister arguing. Violence is continuing abuse on a somewhat systematic scale. These are all definitely along with the literature. Okay, let us go to the next slide. Okay. Here you have two little cats, two kittens, they are playing with each other, and that's not even real conflict. That is just play. It's often positive peace. And sometimes my husband and I will tease each other. And so somebody might think that there's a conflict going on. No, we're just having fun. Okay, let's go. Okay, now this is more like the brother-sister arrangement, conflict. So she's got her arms up, he's yelling, and when this is resolved, okay, I bet they're arguing over which TV program to watch, or who has the computer at this time, who can use a computer. When this is resolved or transformed, it can lead to positive peace. So conflicts are not out of bounds. They can be transformed. Okay, next slide, please. Now, I want you to tell me the story of what happened before we see this picture. What do you think occurred? Okay, so right now, what are they doing? They're talking to each other. They have a smile. Few have a smile. They're not pulling away from each other. So there's something positive going on here. But what might have happened before? Gosh, I wish I could see people's faces. I can't see a few.
Not sure. I'm trying to figure out also what could they have. I mean, is that guy in the middle intervening between the other two, or I'm not sure.
Oh, now that's entirely possible. I had never thought of that. Okay.
I was going to
Jay?
say, I think discussing where to eat lunch.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going on, maybe. But because it is a conflict, it is not a violent conflict. So they haven't tipped over into something dangerous. Okay. Now I have thought about this, that that they were maybe arguing about the next steps and some sort of task that they had to do, and that they were coming out of that. They were transforming the conflict into a positive peace. Okay, so why don't we go to the next slide? Now, I think this is positive peace. Korea TESOL seems to me to be positive peace, just like Wayne Jolt seems to be as well. The feeling that you get when you're walking around the website or walking in the conference rooms is that there is sharing going on, and that it's peaceful sharing, positive sharing. So I want to thank TESOL for letting that spirit come out. Okay, next slide. All right, now some of you were at my featured speaker talk yesterday. So you know, Mother Teresa said, peace begins with a smile. So I just picked up a few pictures from the TESOL website. And right here, there are two wonderful smiles. And actually, I kept seeing smiles all around and thinking, oh, Mother Teresa would be she would like this place. Okay. Next one. Okay, Lindsay is not here, but she has seen this. Peace is Lindsay Heron. Oh, you're right there. Yes, you are. Okay. And she has gotten me out of a large number of scrapes at various times, and I'm so glad. That's a very peaceful, and she does it in a peaceful way, so that I do not feel stupid, and I appreciate that, because technology is not my best suit. So she has helped me do this and get in there, and so I can share with you. And I just wanted to say that the poster for TESOL also gives away that feeling of peace. And these are the featured speakers, but if we had pictures of all the people who were attending, I think we'd get the same concept. Okay. All right. Oh, hey, yeah, Jocelyn says, right, very humanizing. And Maria Mendoza says, peace is David as a great and patient guide for speakers. Oh, I will second that. Okay, definitely. Yes, I think we can all agree on that. Martin Luther King, some of you know this, said true peace is not the absence of conflict, it is the presence of justice. So there is my fellow Martin Luther King, who has taught me so much. Okay. All right. Peace is the welcome sharing of ideas across cultures. Okay. Here's one that has several of our speakers. And I heard at least one of their talks. So this is what I like when people get together across cultures. We can talk to each other, even if we don't have the same language at all. We can communicate. Okay. Next slide. Okay. Peace is the joy of creating new permanent families. Now, this is my Korean family. Jocelyn knows about this. The lady at the top was my doctoral candidate. She turned into a doctoral graduate, and she is at Daegu University of Education. And then this is her husband and their 2 kids. And she named her daughter, after me, which really, that was the creme de la creme. You can't have anything better in your life, you know, when somebody cares that much. And I wanted to tell you that the jacket that I'm wearing came from Korea last December. So I will lose a little bit more weight and then it will fit me perfectly. Okay. Peace is being in nature. Anybody want to say anything about this?
I'm looking out my window and it looks so glorious. The weather's so nice today, but I'm inside. I'm kind of wishing I could connect with nature, but I'm so happy to see faces on the screen at the moment.
It was really a blessing this week to see students realize we're different. I've been taking pictures and sharing with them through the social media app, trying to get them to do a scavenger hunt around the campus and for them to realize where the different little places of where the lilacs are, where the different flower buds are and stuff. And they're like, oh, yeah. So to see the reactions was really peaceful and engaging.
Well, you're going to like one of the activities that we'll do in a few minutes. I want you to know that this is the rosebud tree, and that the flowers grow out of the bark. They don't grow out of stems or anything. They grow out of the bark. And I never knew that. But anyway, so my husband took this picture and I like it. Okay, next slide, please. Peace has many dimensions. And we'll just look at these very fast because I'd like to get on to the activities. Okay, let's see what some of those dimensions are. Oh, I really love these comments here. Mountains, rivers, and trees, cherry blossoms. It's a good day to be inside because it's raining outside. Oh, that's where Malcolm is from. Okay, now, just really fast. I made a circular diagram here. I have other kinds, but inner peace, You could say things start with inner peace and go outward. Or you could say that social peace, which can surround us, makes our inner peace grow stronger. Or you could say that ecological peace, which is being with nature, coming to understand nature, coming to understand that we are one with nature. We aren't just the human mind that takes over everything. We are one with nature. You can go in any direction with these concepts. Social peace, that's really the biggest one, but not necessarily the most important one. But at the biggest, it has interpersonal interactions, intergroup interactions. What I am thinking about now is in the United States, the transgender people are being forced in some states to go to the bathroom, but a certain bathroom depending on what is on their birth certificate. So that might mean having to carry your birth certificate around. And of course, that does no justice to the feeling of that person as to what the gender identity is. There's all sorts of stuff going on about that in this country. International peace. Well, I would like to see some of that, particularly with Ukraine and Russia. We're already seeing other countries step in to help the refugees. That is a really wonderful international peace process. Intercultural peace. Oh, instead of intercultural fighting. Okay, next slide. Okay, this basically says things just like we did now, only in a different way, using these kinds of circles. So let's go to the next. Okay, peace building activities inside the language classroom or outside the language classroom. And this is where we're going to take the students outside. We're going to do a rainbow walk in just a moment. Anyway, this is the activities build on the language of peace approach, which I can explain sometime if people are interested, and socio-emotional learning. That was one of the frameworks of the last session, which I really liked. Okay, so we won't be going into any philosophy here. Let's just go into the activities. Okay, who was it that mentioned? Okay, James, the flower blossoms, Michael, mountains, rivers, and trees. Anybody who cares about nature around us will probably enjoy this. The rainbow walk, I'll just describe it, and then we'll talk about how it can be used. The rainbow walk happens when the students go out. Let's say the Korean students go outside and the teacher is with them, but the students are doing their own observations. They can take a piece of paper and jot down what they see. They can go in order, trying to find the colors of the rainbow: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. They can look around for some you know, for something that is just blooming right now and something that is, you know, tends to be dying off. In our garden out here, we have some beautiful lotuses that are coming up and other things that are getting old. So what do you see here that is of interest to you in this garden? I mean, in this rainbow walk?
I like the berries.
Yeah, me too. I like the yellow in the middle. If you were a student, what would you be writing down? Let's assume that the students have some nature vocabulary. What would you think they would be writing down?
Blue sky. It's nice to see that.
Yeah. Christopher, do you have anything on that? Maybe it's not right to ask you. Oh. Yes, vivid. Those berries are beautiful as BTS's smiles. Huh. Who's BTS, Michael?
They're the most famous Korean boy band in the world right now.
Okay.
Possibly the most famous band in the world right now. That's what my students would be writing down.
Well, that's wonderful. That's great. I'm sure they would. A friend of mine just went to a K-pop K-pop session, a whole session, and she went 2 or 3 states over just to see these people. Could be the BTS. It was one of the most famous bands.
That's them.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's probably exactly them. Okay, let's go to the next slide because we're going to think about this. Michael? Okay. What I want to ask you is, in that activity where the students are going outside, they're jotting some things down about the colors or the things that they see, things that they like. What peace dimensions did you notice as you thought about the rainbow walk? Just the ecological side, or rethinking of any others? Yeah, okay. Ecological, definitely. Inner peace that some people haven't had much of lately, right? Right. And social peace. If you put the students in groups or in pairs or any other social grouping, yeah, there's a whole lot that is going on here that is peace in action. And what ages would you think? Now, I am totally open on this. I've seen it at the university level. I've heard talk about it at various other levels. So what levels are you all teaching, and would this go with any of your students? Oh, yes. What could be the language focus? Prepositions, adjectives, low frequency items for a plant, a tree name, right? and all of the parts of the blossom. All right, okay. Feelings and thoughts that people have as they walk, as they put themselves in nature. And then university. I've done this in freer classes. Yes. I used to take my students out and sit under a tree and have my classes under a tree when it wasn't too hot, when it wasn't raining. And people would go by and they would think, we're really nuts. There's something bad, something strange here. But we were having a wonderful time. And it was very much like this rainbow walk. Why don't we go on to the next activity? Okay, this one requires us to be thinking about our own lives. Okay, Wayne says, last week I took my class outside because it was too hot in the classroom and people were definitely taken aback. Hey, I'm with you. But it's a wonderful thing for the students. And it's a wonderful thing for the teacher too. Okay, so even during this pandemic, we can be grateful and we can be proud. So in the chat box or aloud, let us say first, what can we be grateful for at this time? It could be any time during the pandemic. Well, yeah. Okay, I'm grateful for having electricity and stable internet. I understand that. When I was in South America, we often didn't have that. Okay, Michael, fast food delivery. I appreciate it too. We can be proud of ourselves and our students. What would we be proud of about ourselves, either during the pandemic or now? What can we be proud of concerning us and our students? Either one. This is from James. Yeah, I'm grateful for my wife. I'm proud of my cooking improvement. James, I need you to teach me. I'm grateful to see people I did not see much of women. I'm grateful to see people I didn't see much of in the last 2 years. I'm grateful for time with my family. We can be proud of learners' resilience. And I think sometimes the younger, the better in terms of resilience. Well, I am proud that and grateful that my dog, who looked like she was getting very, very sick, doesn't have cancer. Our first dog died when she was looking just like our current dog. So I'm so pleased that it's not that. Okay. Proud of the teachers I've trained because they have been open to learn new things to implement in the classroom. And I see a lot about that from what you talked about earlier in the day. Okay, or was that, might be yesterday. Okay. Now, if the students were doing this, and the students often like this very much, what aspects of language would they be engaging in? I'm grateful for, I'm proud of. What can they learn about English? Okay, phrasal verbs. Definitely. Okay, let us go on. What peace dimensions did you notice in that activity where I'm talking about I'm grateful, I'm proud? Did you notice any peace dimensions that would be ecological, social, any kind of social or inner peace? Oh, okay, sorry, phrasal adjectives. Okay, that makes more sense. Okay. Inner peace and interpersonal peace. And someone said mostly inner peace. I think if you also have discussions about this, if the students are engaging in discussions, then it definitely turns social. It's inner peace that gets to be discussed. And what ages? Well, I personally would think that you could use this with many ages. You just use the language that they can deal with and open the door to this discussion I'm proud of, I'm grateful for. And you know how to do this when you adjust an activity for the proficiency level that the students have. Okay, the next one, Michael. All right, now this is a game that I created, and it's called Looking Around Korea. What I'm going to do with Michael, we're working together here. We're going to say for each slide, where is this? And have you been there? And then at the end of the slides, we're going to ask which place seems the most peaceful. I made myself a little list, if I can find it, of the places that, yeah, here it is. The places that these are in Korea. So can you answer, where is this? And these two go together. And have you been there?
No pressure on Michael, of course.
What?
No pressure on Michael.
How did I get roped into answering these questions?
Because you look wise, right?
Because I look wise, but remember, I live in Gangwon. I'm very hermit-like. I don't get out much. But I'm just gonna guess that this is Gyeongbokgung Palace in Seoul.
Yes, in fact, that is. It's exactly right.
And yes,
Oh,
I have been there. Thank you. And that ends my participation in this. Ask Dave. Dave knows everything.
all right. Where is Dave? I can't see.
Dave is making a comment in the chat. He said the left one is Gwanghwamun.
Oh, okay. Well, it could be because there are several places that look like that. But this one is the palace that Michael just mentioned. Okay. And the area around Kyobo books. Oh, Is that a book place, a book seller?
It's the best bookstore in Korea, maybe.
Oh, for heaven's sake. I wish I'd gone. Okay, next one. Now we're gonna look at 5 or 6 different slides. Now, where is this? And have you been to this place?
This one's easy. Latte World.
Yes, absolutely. And I want to tell you, my first trip to Korea, we stayed in one of these grand hotels. It was right next to Latte World. It might have been called by the same name. Anyway, it was overrun with people at that point. So it's probably more overrun now. Okay. The next slide. Now, so looking around Korea, where is this? And frankly, I didn't get the name of it. So
I don't know where it is, but I'd love to visit.
yeah,
It might be the Hanok village in Cheonju.
that
It's
actually
definitely
sounds
a, it's definitely a Hanok something. I was thinking Bukchon for some reason, but I don't know why.
well, I think you're both on the right track. It is an ancient village that has been protected and has been rebuilt to keep it long lasting. And that I would love to be in a place like that. Okay, next slide. Okay. So where is this and have you been there? Now, this looks like the beach in Busan where I got to walk up and down with a friend, my student. But then they didn't have these circles on that beach. So where do you think that is?
Could it be Imjado?
I know. Well, it could be. It could well be. But this one is Gyeongpo Beach. Is that? Am I saying it halfway right? Where is that? Do you know?
Sure, even Dave's looking confused.
I didn't hear the name.
Oh, Gyeong.
Gyeonggi.
Po. Hmm?
Kyungpo? Kyungpo? I don't know.
It looks nice though.
Yeah.
It does look nice. There were a number of beaches to choose from, so I just saw this and thought it was beautiful. Okay, next slide.
That beach is in Gangneung, by the way. So, James, you were almost right. A little south of Sokcho,
Oh,
on the east coast, in my province.
oh, for heaven's sake. All right, where is this? Have you been there?
Muju Mountain?
Muju.
This is a ski resort. It could be those mountains. It's called Vivaldi. If anybody,
Vivaldi Park, again, we are in Gangwon province. This is a little bit west of Hongcheon, which is where I lived for 5 years and where I met my wife.
oh,
That's
for heaven's
why, that's why, Mike, you're in charge. You're in charge of this game.
So did you go skiing when you were there?
Not a chance.
Not a chance. It would be hard for me, I'll tell you. Okay, let's go on. Okay, now this I couldn't believe. Do you know where this is and what are they doing? And have you been there?
It's not in Kangwon.
What do you think they are? Now the kids could probably tell you. These are teddy bears. There are many teddy bear museums. Oh, right. This one could be in Jeju, right? Yeah, I think it is.
Yes.
And what are they doing? What is this big one doing? And what does this remind you of? Now, the students might or might not be able to do this, but okay, it's like angels, like the Sistine Chapel. Yes, James, is the Sistine Chapel where God reaches down to humankind. And yes, okay, creation of Adam. Yeah, I think that's exactly right. Okay, so is that in the Sistine Chapel?
Yep.
Yep. Okay, so this is God sparking life into this other teddy bear. And so I had no idea that this was one of the big things to go see in Korea. But now I know. So I think this might be the last one on this activity. So can we go to the next slide? All right, so I wondered, which place do you feel drawn to of any ones in this activity? Which place do you like the most? And that could go with which place is the most peaceful and calming for you. Oh yeah, Michelangelo, the creation.
I think I like the Hanok village picture the most. I love, yeah, I love the beach picture too, but you know, the picture is one thing, but when you're there at, 2 p.m. and it's really hot and you're sweating and stuff, if there's no shade.
And that was the Hanbok village, is that right?
Hanbok is the clothing.
Hanbok, right. Okay. So is that the most calming for you, Jocelyn?
I think it's calming, yeah. It's stimulating because it's different.
Michael, did you have something to say?
Oh, I love Hanok. It's amazing. The one thing I would say is that something that's interesting that connects to the talk is that it's actually very important where you put the house. You have to put it with the back to the mountain and the front to the river, and there's certain variations in the layout depending on whether you're in the north of Korea, not North Korea, the north of South Korea, where I am, or if you're in the south, because the weather is different. But yeah, there's a big concern with them with where this is placed, and if you place it wrong, oh boy, you're in trouble
for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So that is feng shui, the whole placement, right?
I think the Korean, if I remember, Dave can probably tell us. I think the Koreans have a different term for it, but it's a similar idea.
Similar. Okay, Dave, do you know what that is? The term?
If I hear it, I do.
Okay. All right. So, what would be the language focus? Let's look at number 4. for us thinking about students. What would be the language focus when they talk about where this place is? Would they like to go there? Have they been there? What are some of the language pieces that they could work with there?
Rebecca, I'm sorry to interject. We're actually 2 minutes over time right now.
Oh, well,
I'm
let
so
us.
sorry. Was so engaged by thinking about Hanok that I lost track of time. My fault entirely. So we do have
No.
to kind of wrap up here if we could do that.
Okay, well, let's go to the very back. Adapting existing, well, not very back, but okay, adapting existing material to integrate peace. You can take the regular classroom textbooks that you're using, and I won't go into this in detail, but you can think about what some of the peace dimensions are in these books that you are using right now. And you can slide in some peace activities that go with any of the themes in these books, and I can explain that at a later time in email. So let's just go to the end. Okay. The main thing is let's become conscious peace builders together or individually. The main thing that is different in what we're saying here is that you may be a peace builder without being conscious of it. So how can you do that? If you would like to receive these slides or more activities, we actually have 100 different activities that any of which could be interesting to you. Just let me know. And my email is rebeccaoxford@gmail.com. And if anybody would like to join some of our teaching or research teams, let me know that too. So that is my email. Some of these activities I have not done before, like the ones for Let's Look at Korea. And I think that took some time, but these things can be shaped any way you want it, and the timing any way you want that. So thank you so much, and I really appreciate seeing you.
All right.
And I thank Michael very much.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Thank you so much. I'm going to stop the recording now. We went a little